Alcohol, it affects your babies. No ifs, no buts, and no maybes. Strong baby, strong life. Strong man and strong wife. Alcohol, it affects your babies.
Well, I can proudly say this project has increased information and awareness about FASD in the community.
But what excites me is that the awareness that's been lifted and the awareness that's coming to this community has got people talking.
This project in Tennant Creek has been incredible, and I think it's at the forefront of changing generations.
As far as we know, it's the only FASD specific project in the Northern Territory to date, and one of only a handful in Australia.
It's everybody's issue, it's a non-Indigenous issue, it's an issue down south.
To have this project in town and starting to spread its wings in the region is a great foundation stone to deliver that education and awareness that we need.
Come on, Tennant Creek. Listen to this beat if you're even on the street. We wanna hear baby's strong heartbeat. We don't want another sad story to repeat.
The people that are actually dealing with the people that we're talking about is us.
Yeah.
We're in charge of like 100 people every day and their behavioural pattern. We can change that immediately.
In pubs and clubs now there's the signs about drinking, which is really great, and that's had a positive feedback.
You'll find straight away there's flyers sitting on the desk of the bottle shop, which I thought was great. They've probably made the front of the paper 2 or 3 times with some of the programs that they're running in the community. There's been a really great engagement with a lot of the younger people, and that's through Leonie and a lot of the great work she's doing.
Most kids don't know teenagers, and it's important because some of the girls around here and boys, they like to start having kids when they're younger, and most of the kids don't know anything about it.
You're drinking, you're sniffing, you better start thinking. Please mama, I'm just a baby, I'm hardly even blinking. You're smoking, drinking between your mub now. It's all in my baby blood now, baby blood now.
And we're really keen on learning more about the disorder to make the school a more effective learning space for our students, for all students involved.
I would estimate that every classroom would have students who have some symptoms of FASD, which means that classroom teachers are having difficulty assisting these children or students achieve to their full potential.
If a child fails at school at the age of 10 and ends up being excluded because of their behaviour, there aren't many options for them. Their education is effectively over, and what's left for them? Certainly no employment prospects, and they are most likely then to drift into something like the juvenile justice system or the mental health system. So the stakes are high, and this is why I'm keen to work with not just Elliott School but any of the local schools who identify such a problem, because these kids are too young to miss out on all education.
I don't really know anything. I hadn't even heard of FASD until I came here this afternoon, so I'm really looking forward to the course.
Girls, if you're gonna be a good mummy, look after your jigger when he's growing in your tummy. A sick little baby's a lifetime of trouble. Give up your bad ways, quick on the double.
The data that we have from the clinic shows that up to a quarter of children aren't growing well for one reason or another. And because there's no process where I was never trained to identify fetal alcohol syndrome, and even paediatricians recognise it as a highly specialised area to identify which children are affected by alcohol. So we can identify children who aren't growing well, that's pretty easy, you just put them on the scales. But to work out which ones are affected by alcohol is much more difficult. And so all children who aren't growing well need special attention, but there's a particular subgroup that are affected by alcohol that are even more challenging.
A lot of people don't class it as a disability, it's not recognised. A lot of people have no idea that it exists, so it makes it, there's a lot of unknowns.
Looking at the problems that we experience, because I guess people just want to, it's the same with anything with disabilities, they want to just push it away and pretend it just doesn't exist.
In fact, lots of people can probably go through quite unaware that there's an effect from the alcohol until they get to school, when they can't concentrate and they can't learn and they can't process information. And then I think it just compounds as they get older, and then that flows into things like social disorder and social dysfunction, and then it starts to repeat.
In America, it's the leading known cause of mental retardation, but it's also 100% preventable.
Check it. Alcohol, it will poison your baby, messing up the brain, make him go crazy, make him go weak, make him go lazy. No excuse.
The unique family structures that we have in Barclay kind of says that, well, it's not only just the parents that are responsible for the children, it's actually the whole of the family and the community. We have such communal upbringings here. So educating the community as a whole is so important, not just the mothers or the fathers, but the seniors and the elders and the aunties and uncles.
I'm a big part of the football culture in this town, and you see so much alcohol-based behaviour around the footy and around the boys talking and around all that stuff. And I know that their partners will be involved, pregnant partners will be involved.
Yeah, men have a very important role, and they need to be encouraged as well, and it'd be great to see men's focus groups too, to talk about FASD in their own groups. Yeah.
Strong baby, strong life, strong men and strong wives. Alcohol, it affects your baby.
And when I hear stories, she's working with the Stronger Sisters program. She's working with Aboriginal health workers. She's pushing this education awareness out now into the region and visiting small towns and communities. That's another breath of fresh air, because that's what works.
But they do need a commitment from government to help push that message across.
Because other countries have been addressing FASD for 30 years or more. Australia is yet to admit that we've even got a problem with it and declare it as a disability.
Alcohol, it affects your babies. No ifs, no buts, and no maybes.
The federal government has been holding an inquiry into FASD nationally since December last year, and we were very keen to be part of that consultation process, and I've been advocating for Barclay, unsuccessfully as it turns out. They've visited most other states in Australia, but they've managed to avoid us here, so that's something that I continue to lobby for.
There's money in alcohol, and I think a lot of doctors have got shares in alcohol industry, and I think that's something else that contributes to the difficulty of getting alcohol on the agenda the way tobacco is on the agenda. And we know tobacco is bad, and you can't smoke here and you can't smoke there, but alcohol is part of society, and doctors are a bit reticent to ask about it. A lot of doctors drink themselves, and that is another barrier to managing this FASD.
We have to treat this as a crisis, and we have to work immediately and urgently to stop it, so that we have a future, so that we can leave the country in safe, capable hands.
The FASD project from the Barclay has been given 90 minutes at a worldwide conference. 90 minutes to talk about the Indigenous perspective of dealing with FASD in the Barclay region. You know, Barclay region is part of Australia, but from what I believe, I think there's only one from Australia that's going to be talking, and this is this group.